And good afternoon and welcome live here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. It's time for Fort Lee Wrestling taking on the Tenafly Tigers. Ralph Bednarchik with you at 106 pounds. It'll be Dylan Selleck announced as Fort Lee will be forfeiting at least 4 weight classes, while there's a possibility of Tenafly forfeiting 1. So we could have as few as only 9 different bouts. So Dylan Selleck getting the forfeit, and it starts out as 6-0 Tenafly. So we'll start on 113 pounds. Freshman Troy Saya of Tenafly has been announced against freshman Magsmund Mehdihaze. Mehdihaze, a freshman, following the footsteps of his older brother Rustam that graduated last year. This is his first time wrestling, and they have some projection about him. And he has been thrown in to gain a lot of experience, and he wrestles against Troy Saya. And you notice that Mehdihaze, he is right now on the left in the orange and black singlet, with Troy Saya, his opponent of Tenafly. And Saya goes into attack mode, and not allowing Mehdihaze a chance to even relax. Tenafly head coach Chris Marin in his 17th year. This is his 40th year overall as a high school wrestling coach. Previously 19 years with Saddlebrook High School. He is a Saddlebrook High School alum in the class of 1981. And meanwhile, John Melendez, head coach of Fort Lee. He is going to be out at least 6, if not 7 starters in this lineup. And the way the calendar worked out, he has several of his starters that just need rest. So thus the reason for 4 forfeitures. As getting on top and now in a good position is Troy Saya. And Saya will score and pick up the first 3 of this opening period. And Saya not content. And still about a half minute to go here for Mehdihaze to try to get out of this period and then have a chance to reset. And attempting to escape, he is able to get to his feet. But doing well here is Saya, and Saya again another near takedown. Now he gets on top. Final seconds, the escape is executed by Mehdihaze, and he does earn the 1 point. So after Saya looked like he was going to prevent that, we'll see if that will be a significant 1 point for Magsmund Mehdihaze. 3-1 Saya here at 113 pounds. And Saya looks for the escape. Near a reversal of the single leg, and able to score is Saya by getting the escape. But he did not just escape and get out of position, he went right to attack mode. Chris Marin knew he had an experienced team coming back with a couple of regional qualifiers. The middleweights is the strength of this Tenafly team in dual meets. They are 8-11 on the season. And out of the 24 teams on the schedule this year, 13 have qualified for the state dual meet tournament in their respective sectionals. Another near takedown for Saya, but doing well to scramble out of that is Magsmund Mehdihaze. And now the second takedown executed, 7-1. And Saya remains in attack mode, so this second period looking a lot like the first. So today for Fort Lee, a lot of inexperienced wrestlers are going to get thrown in. A little bit similar to Tenafly, but Tenafly has more of their usual starters in the lineup today. So there are going to be some matchups where a Bridgeman wrestler is going to see an experienced and also battle-tested wrestler. But there are times in a wrestling schedule where someone has to fill in. And Mehdihaze again does well avoiding a takedown. And now he picks up the eventual escape. So a couple of takedowns here through 2 periods, and it's 7-2. Troy Saya. So Saya could be in a position to come up with a major. And Saya, for his frame, shows pretty good quickness. Medezade, a brief hold of the single leg, but Saya avoids the compromised position. And a chance to pin, maybe the left shoulder for Troy Saya. And Medezade does well to avoid that left shoulder. However, valuable time coming off the clock in this 3rd period. And to try to score and come back in the match. Troy Saya in control. And with a pair of takedowns, and Medezade perhaps of the mind. So our referee decides, I think he blows it dead, I think maybe dangerous. So a chance for Medezade to get to his feet and pick up and escape out of this. But Medezade may be of the thought, look, I'm going to try to avoid a tech fall and put my team in a compromised position. Still 20 seconds for Saya. And freshman Troy Saya of Tenafly, pair of freshmen here at 113 pounds. Saya is going to ride it out and have to be content with a 7-2 win over Magsmund Medezade of Fort Lee. So it's just a decision at 113 pounds for 3, and it's 9-0 after 2. As we move to 120 pounds, Nico Mizik will wrestle for Tenafly against Lucas Rowano of Fort Lee. Lucas is a first-year varsity wrestler, first-year wrestling for him, but has shown good toughness. But he's going up against an accomplished Nico Mizik here, who was a district qualifier as a freshman 2 years ago. And here is a near takedown and the score for Rowano. Or check that, I'm sorry, that it is Rowano. Rather, Mizik is on top. Two teams of very similar colors. So Mizik is able to score. 2 years as a district qualifier at 120 pounds, which is a very difficult weight class. And Nico Mizik is a year-round wrestler. The majority of the dedicated wrestlers in the Tenafly program wrestle for the Red Nose organization. Now in a position to pin, and there it is, a pin for Nico Mizik. So Mizik is able to make quick work of Lucas Rowano for the pin. Had the early takedown, and then finishes the job. 6 points for the pin in the first period. So that makes it 15-0 at 126 pounds. We'll see Zach Sioris of Tenafly. And we did not get an announcement who was wrestling for Fort Lee at 126. Zach Sioris is a freshman, so he is on your left with the orange trim. Well, to correct myself, on the 113 match, there was Mendezade that won to make the score at 12-3. So confusing with the very similar singlets and such a rush coming out. So it is Fort Lee here on the right-hand side in kind of the camo singlets with the orange and black, very Fort Lee colors for Tenafly, and Tenafly leading 12-3. So Zach Sioris is in the up position. And the escape for the Fort Lee wrestler, who I believe here at 126 pounds, is Hovik Amerkanian. And I'm correct, it is Hovik Amerkanian here. Hovik wrestled JV most of last season. And Amerkanian just to try to get to the second period, and he's going to get there. And avoid being pinned, and now a chance for a mental reset. Against freshman Zach Sioris, who has his older brother, John Sioris, also on the Tenafly roster. Tenafly does not have to combine with any other programs. Head coach Chris Marin alongside his head coach Jim Sutera at Saddlebrook High School. James Sutera is a 1973 graduate of Saddlebrook and former head coach who coached Chris Marin. Marin is in the class of '81. And then James Sutera wrestled at Central Connecticut State. His son, Craig Sutera, now the head coach at nearby Cliffside Park. Sioris a hold of the leg. At 3-2, Zach Sioris given a takedown and now in position for a pin, and he gets the right shoulder down. Tremendous from Zach Sioris, who made a great quick move, but he did not waste a second. Second pin for Tenafly. So Sioris will make it 18-3. As you're watching our coverage, and special thanks to our sponsors to help make this broadcast possible: the Fort Lee PBA, Cafassos Ferry Market, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Doro Electric, Bridgemen Basketball Camps, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me Restaurant, the Bergen Black Sox Baseball Organization, Senator Builders, UCS Strength and Speed, the Collective Salon, and the Fort Lee Education Association. Thanks to all for helping make this broadcast be possible. So at 138 pounds, Fort Lee having to forfeit to add to the score to make it 24-3. And now at 138, it's Isaac Garay, freshman for Tenafly, against Narik Haratunian of Fort Lee. Garay is a second-generation wrestler. Dad wrestled at Passaic Tech. And Isaac is a junior. And Narik Haratunian on this very young Fort Lee team is among the experienced wrestlers that John Melendez has. Haratunian is a senior, 3 years on the varsity, and a captain. So Haratunian on the right. And Garay considered very good on his feet. And Chris Marin and the coaching staff want him to think less and just be in constant attack mode. And that's, of course, goes across the board for all young and kind of ascending wrestlers. Meanwhile, for Haratunian, difficult start of the season. Had the flu in December. Haratunian went for the takedown, but they'll see out of bounds and dangerous. So Garay surviving here at the end of the first period. And to get a reset in the center circle. And we'll go to the second period, still scoreless here at 138 pounds. At 144, it'll be questionable to see if Fort Lee is going to forfeit there, or if Fort Lee will be able to put someone up in that spot. Escape for Garay. Haratunian is able to at least get him down. Still unable to score. Garay able to roll well on his back. Now Haratunian is able to get on top. He comes up with a takedown to take the lead 3-1. Garay, that would have been an aggressive and ambitious move to flip on over to his feet. Haratunian. There's still no escape, but no takedown either for Isaac Garay. So now Garay underneath for the Tenafly Tigers. And Haratunian very comfortable on top as he tries to ride. And Garay nearly came up with a reversal. Remember, Garay is still in a down position to try to just come up with a one-point escape and perhaps try to do that with under 10 seconds left. And Garay almost stepped up, but he nearly turns Haratunian. With 1 second, he's able to flip him. And Haratunian, despite all the riding time, does not have a takedown to show for it. He leads only 3-1 through 2. But now Haratunian, with a quick escape, will be able to force Isaac Garay to get very aggressive for this 2-minute third period. And Haratunian is able to pick up just 2, but extends to 5-1. So he gets 2 points for the near fall. Now a reversal, chance for a pin, and Narek Haratunian continues his great work on top after riding out Isaac Garay for virtually the entire second period. He's able to come up with a pin and collect 6 points in the duel to make it 24-9. Here's Daniel Corey at 144 pounds for Fort Lee against Jonathan Cohen of Tenafly. Cohen is a senior. Starting 144-pounder Nolan Greeley. He is on the mend with illness for Tenafly. And Corey, using his experience, he's already picked up a three-point takedown and is not done yet. And Daniel Corey known for having his pace and taking it to guys right away. 1 point escape picked up for Jonathan Cohen. Corey went for a single leg and doing well to avoid it. Jonathan Cohen. Cohen picks up now a three for a second takedown and trying to pin the left shoulder. He's in position and he pins Jonathan Cohen. Consecutive pins for Fort Lee. And a 24-15 in the dual meet. And halfway through, exactly through 7 at 150 pounds. And here is Grant Kang, senior wrestler, just in his second match against Omar Attila, one of the top wrestlers, probably the top 2 wrestler for Tenafly. So for Grant Kang, this is learning how to wrestle as a team. Omar Attila just finished in 4th at the Bergen County Championships at 150 pounds. Been a regional qualifier last couple of years at 138. Last year was hurt most of the season. This year back to himself. And had a great summer. But for Grant Kang, learning wrestling for the first time, a tremendous soccer player. And there's the first scoring for Attila. And Attila trying to work him over and get that left shoulder down. He's in position. Here comes the countdown. And Kang is giving up a lot of weight here also to Attila. Kang avoids it, however. Attila is still able to score. He picks up the 3. And then the 4-point near fall. So he advances to 7-1. And Grant Kang getting some instruction against Omar Attila. And Omer is just a junior, and it is Attila that is going to receive some medical attention. So Grant Kang trying to be scrappy here. And Attila already able to score with another takedown and a 3 to get to 10-1. And Kang here to try to get an escape and then have another moment with the coaching staff about how to advance in the second period. And you can see such a strength advantage. And Grant Kang is pinned here late in the first period. So Omar Attila Scores to make it 30-15. Through 8 bouts. Now to 157 pounds. And we'll see if Tenafly does put someone up. And Tenafly will forfeit as Benjamin Zafrir, a talented regional qualifier, he is also out. Finishing 8th at 157 pounds in the Bergen County Championship. So this is a loss for Tenafly to make the score be 30-21. And now at 165. Nick Manishin here at 165 pounds for Tenafly. He's a senior wrestler against Etornum Adzasu of Fort Lee. Adzasu weighed in at 153.5. Manishin 166. So here at 165, so Adzasu back on his feet. And Manishin again in the orange trim and black. Very inexperienced lineup today for Fort Lee. Sophomore Ethan Castellano, who is a co-captain for this program. He is among the several bridgemen that are resting today, that are back behind the bench just looking on. And to the second period, both wrestlers staying on their feet. Nick Manishin of Tenafly and Etornum Adzasu of Fort Lee. So Manishin now to the down position. Remember, Manishin has almost 10 pounds on Adzasu, but wasn't able to get up there. Adzasu, oh, good job by Manishin to flip over, but now the right shoulder is compromised. Brief countdown began. Adzasu continues to work on that left shoulder. And a score for a three-point takedown. Now the escape for Manishin. So a near fall was granted by a referee for Etornum Adzasu of Fort Lee, leading 2-1, second period. And this already feels like a significant swing match here in our 10th bout. Fort Lee is going to forfeit 190 and 215. So only 2 more opportunities to score. And Adzasu was given 1. Azasu almost not ready for the referee's whistle. So through 2 periods, 3-1, Itornum Azasu of Fort Lee. Up next, it'll be Martin Young of Tenafly, Dylan Moore of Fort Lee. Then we'll have consecutive forfeits before we move on to heavyweight and the last bout of the night. Azasu trying to stand up, pick up the key extra point for the escape, and that'll really force Manishin to try to be aggressive and get a takedown score. And they'll go back to the center. And you hear John Melendez, he wants him to go out and not just sit and ride this out. He wants him to get to his feet and score. So the 1-point escape now for Adzusin, or Adzazu. So Manishin does get what he needed to force Nick Manishin of Tenafly to have to score and come up with a takedown. But Manishin has not been able to use his weight advantage and to get on top at all. Adzazu's quickness has probably been the biggest difference. And now the 3 awarded for Azasu for the takedown. It's 7-1 with 40 seconds left. And Manishin in no position even for a reversal. He needs to just get to his feet. Now the escape for the 1 at 7-2. Manishin attempting a single leg. He has not been able to get Itornum Adzasu down over the course of this bout. And it will be Fort Lee's Itornum Adzasu to pick up the victory at 7-2. So he gets the decision and the 3 points to cut it to 30-24 through 10 bouts. Tenafly will have Martin Young and Dylan Moore of Fort Lee. Dylan Moore is a sophomore. First-year varsity. He has wrestled up very often at 190, so this is a much more convenient weight at 175 for Dylan. Martin Young, 175.8 was his weigh-in. And Dylan Moore, 170.5. So it is Young plus 5 pounds, and he picks up an immediate takedown. Well, now he's in position for a potential pin. Check out the right shoulder of Dylan Moore. Young working him over. Young has it. Martin Young with a first period pin for Tenafly. Senior co-captain, greatly improved, has over 20 wins. Very good varsity football player. He comes up with a first period pin. So 36-24. And now we'll have the consecutive forfeits for Fort Lee here at 190 and 215. So 42-24 and then 48-24. And we finish off the night at 285 at heavyweight with Jason Yeon a freshman, against Tej Kim, also a Fort Lee freshman. This is Tej's first year wrestling. And Yeon only about 200 pounds, so there's no real significant weight advantage here. Tej Kim 218. And actually Yeon weighing in 197.3. So actually I'll take that back. That's about a 20-pound difference here at heavyweight. Final bout of the night, as Tenafly is going to be 9-11 on the season in dual meets. So these are two young, projectable wrestlers. Fort Lee resting among others, and key wrestlers, like I said, in Ethan Castellanos, Lev Koltsov, usually 157 or 165. Ryan Kim is wrestling. Fort Lee is a short week. Wednesday they will take on a good Kreskill program. Kreskill had just defeated this Tenafly team over the weekend. Actually, that was on Friday, competitive match 45-33. So that's what Fort Lee is getting ready for. Dylan Mara at 175. Also needing rest time, Aaron Pena at 215. 120-pounder, and the experienced Michael Mediev of Fort Lee. So the Bridgemen with upwards of 7 starters out of their lineup and trying to get through this match and to be ready for Wednesday. But this is why coaches trying to fill out, have deep rosters, and you never know when your time is called, just as this Fort Lee program learned, as there's the escape and the 1 point earned by Jae-Sun Yeon, or rather the escape for Tej Kim of Fort Lee, who is in front of us in the black-on-black singlet. And Fort Lee learned that lesson right before Christmas with the flu hitting the team badly. And they had to forfeit matches. They barely could practice as a team, could only have small groups. So they ended up well behind everybody else around January 1st before they finally got their feet under them as a program. Tej Kim has been more of the aggressor here into the second period. Look at Yeon, and Jason Yeon has a hold of the single leg. He is going to be in position for a 3-point takedown, and Tenafly roars. Now in position, maybe with the left shoulder. He started a brief pin. Here it comes for Jason Yeon. It could be his first pin. And Yeon on top of Tenafly. He's trying to finish the job here. Jason Yeon. And fighting, but unable to get out of it is Tej Kim. And Jason Yeon has a second period pin, perhaps the first of his Tenafly career for the freshman. And that puts a capper on the Tenafly Tigers' victory today. 54-24, an impressive pin. And what a moment that is. When you're a freshman at heavyweight, it's usually setup where you wrestle against someone much older than you. Jason Yeon was giving up 20 pounds to Tej Kim, and Kim was the aggressor. But once Yeon got on top and he showed his skill and experience and did not give up even when he got the three-point takedown, he was not content to just finish it there. He went for it and got it. Congratulations to Jason Yeon of Tenafly. 54-24 is our final. I'd like to thank all of you for watching our coverage here of Fort Lee Wrestling. And once again, our sponsors for helping make this broadcast be possible. Thank you to the Fort Lee PBA, Cafasos Fairway Market, the Finest Construction Company, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Doro Electric, Bridgeman Basketball Camps, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me Restaurant, Connect One Bank, Bergen Black Sox Baseball, Senator Builders, UCS Strength and Speed, the Collective Salon, and the Fort Lee Education Association. Thank you all. 4 forfeits by Fort Lee certainly put them in a compromised position. 1 forfeiture from Tenafly, so we had 9 bouts. And out of that, I think we had 5 pins that ended up that way. But 2 programs, particularly in Fort Lee, that had to go deeper in their bench to have wrestlers gain a lot of experience. That'll do it for all of us here at Fort Lee Gymnasium. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, my name is Ralph Bednarczyk saying goodbye on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel.